Hello, Humane marketers. Sarah Znakrocha here. Welcome to another episode of the Humane Marketing Podcast, a place to be for the generation of marketers who cares. This is the show where we talk about marketing your business in a way that feels good to you, is aligned with your values, and also resonates more with your conscious customers because it's not pushy, ethical, and also beautiful. So if you're a regular here, you know that I'm organizing the conversations around the 7 Ps of humane marketing. And if you're new here and this is your first time, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. You may want to download your one-page marketing plan with the 7 Ps of humane marketing in the form of a mandala at humane.marketing/one page, the number one and page. So again, humane.marketing/one page. And with that, with no further ado, let's dive into today's conversation. Hi, Kelly. It's good to have you back on the Humane Marketing Podcast. Welcome.
Hi, Sarah. Really nice to be here.
Yeah, lovely to reconnect. You were on the podcast once before, and my community, the Humane Marketing Circle, which you used to also be a member of, wanted you back for another collab workshop. So that's what we're doing. We're just recording a kind of introduction episode, and then we'll plug the workshop at the end so that listeners, if they're like, oh, I want to learn more about kind of like the humane approach to SEO from Kelly, hopefully they'll join us. So let's just talk about your approach to SEO, and for those who may not know what SEO even stands for, you can explain that. But I picked up the tagline basically from your website where you say conscious websites, sustainable SEO. So maybe start us off there and tell us what that means to you.
Yeah, so I originally was a website designer. I am a website designer, but over the years, over the 26 years that my business has been running, I know it's amazing. I've been working it out this year and it's incredible. I started doing the whole website design side of stuff. And then sort of halfway through that time, I just wondered why some websites were ranking and some websites weren't. And so I went in to investigate why stuff worked on the search engines and stuff didn't. And I just got really into that side of stuff. So the reason that I say it is conscious websites, because websites will rank when they are inclusive. So basically, if the text is big enough for everybody to see, if there is contrast in the colors of the website so that people can see the text on the buttons. Or, for example, a lot of people have those big hero images that go all the way across the screen and then they might have text in front of it. And oftentimes you can't see what the text says because it's white on, I don't know, a snowy mountain background or something like that. So it's very hard to read. And that's where you have to be really conscious about whether or not people can read and click your website. So that helps with search engine optimization. So being very clear, very transparent, ensuring that the visitors can use your website, that helps your SEO. And then therefore it's sustainable because you stick to the top of search engines once you rank well. Usually you'll fluctuate a little up and down one or two places for different search terms, but you will stick. So organic SEO is sustainable. So that's why I've got that tagline.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it feels like it's conscious to the website owner because you have to be conscious and apply consciousness.
Yeah.
But it's also conscious because, like you said, it's inclusive and it's a website created in integrity rather than just to trick the
Yes.
people or to trick even the search engines, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the side of organic SEO that I really love, is the fact that it is conscious, it is inclusive. And I've had a business owner say to me before, but I don't want to, that a person that's visually impaired will not be able to do the sport that I'm offering, so then that's not their target market. And yes, that is completely valid. It's just that search engines will reward the website if you're making it better for people that are visually impaired. If you think about our mums and our dads and things like that, or even, I'm wearing glasses now as well. Yes, exactly. And you're looking at a website and it's got teeny tiny writing, or it's really, really light and thin and you can't really read it, you're not going to stick around on that website because you just can't use it. And the search engines can see that. They know in the code this is very narrow text or it's very small text. And so that is not you're not thinking about your visitor if you're using that kind of font.
Mm.
And there's lots of little things like that that um, the search engines look for, and just they will rank you higher if you're doing those things better.
It's interesting because it's kind of the common sense things that when you hear SEO, you don't think of those things. You think of, search engine optimization already. It's like this tech term, and you think kind of these tech bros who are tricking the search engines,
Yeah, you
and
think of
so
meta tags and you think of alt tags and you're like, oh my gosh, where's my title tag? And is the structure okay? And yes, those things are completely a part of SEO, and you need to do those things as well. But it does come down to that design of the website as well. So that there's a design side to SEO and there is a tech side to SEO. And obviously there's that content side as well. So there's three parts.
three parts, yeah. So when
Mm.
you say provide an effortless experience for your audience, you mean all of those things combined, right?
Yeah, so the journey around a website is another thing that search engines will uh, pick up on. So if you've got, say, a blog post that you've written and you're referring to another blog post or another resource that you've maybe taken a little bit of information from, when you link to that resource, you should link the text within the content. So within the words within the text, instead of like putting it at the end of the blog post, because when you're using the text within the content, it helps the user journey. So someone's reading, da 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 da. I want to find out more about that. They can click straight on that link instead of sticking it right down at the bottom and they've completely forgotten what they've read. So it's thinking about that user journey and pushing them around the website easily.
Yeah, so really creating this path for them, and then maybe also from that new page that they clicked on, then leading them to another page, right? Like from what I remember from SEO or just website use in general, is like we want the person to be on our website as long as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to take them on this journey and not just click away after they just read, this amazing blog post that we spent hours and hours writing. So, yeah.
So this is what our workshop will be about, is basically about the keywords for real people. And it's writing that content for real people as well. So that content lands with the audience, it lands with the visitor, it's really relevant to them, and you're taking them on that journey through your website. So it's super easy and super interesting and really fun. I mean, SEO is fun, she says, trying to convince everybody else in the world.
Well, yeah, I think that's what attracts me to your approach so much because it's really about resonance at play, really. It's like what we're trying to do is make marketing easy for ourselves. And by using the right keywords, we are then attracting the right people to our content. And then from there, take them on this journey, right? So in a way, yeah, it's this resonance that I always talk about, and I couldn't imagine a more fun way than just have people come to your website and then sign up to your newsletter, and without having to do something constantly. Yes, you have to create the content, but that usually then that sits there, and hopefully you get a good keyword that just keeps
Yeah.
getting the people coming back and back, right?
It has longevity. Yeah, that's what SEO is so powerful for, and getting those newsletter signups, as you say. Um, and I suddenly thought of something then, but it's completely gone out of my mind because I'm
Oh
now
yeah,
thinking about
it'll come
newsletters. Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a way, what we're doing is we're playing matchmaking. We're trying to,
Love that.
attract the right audience and use the right keywords for that. So maybe to me, what it sounds like, understanding your audience is actually the first and bigger step to then figuring out, well, what are my keywords? Usually when you talk to keywords to new entrepreneurs, they just think of, let's say they're a hair salon in, Lausanne. Well, they think their keyword is hair salon in Lausanne, right? But those are not, well, okay, for a hair salon, I don't know if you've ever worked with one, but that's kind of difficult, a difficult
Yeah.
example.
I know
Um,
exactly what you're getting at though, and it's actually what I was thinking about, and I just forgot. But when you're thinking about something like hair salon Lausanne, um, the mistake business owners make is to try to rank for a keyword that everybody else is ranking for. Now,
yeah,
there are billions of key phrases that people put into the search engines. So
yeah,
you don't have to try to rank for the same keywords as the salon next door is ranking for. You can rank
right,
for a whole different set, and you
right,
might have different values. So therefore you can rank in different ways. And so with the workshop that we're doing, we're going to look at researching those key phrases and making sure that we find the right key phrases for us and then target them because they've got low difficulty, so they're easier to rank for. Does that make
right.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I was getting at. Like we think you would think that for me a keyword is humane marketing, right? That might be, but it's probably the one that is the least easy to get any traction from because it
Yeah.
has the word marketing in it, and everybody is already targeting the word marketing. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, you have a humane, which is a little bit different, but people don't think of putting that into the search engine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you've
finding
kind
the
of got to go around the houses a little bit, but you're answering the questions that the people who you're targeting would
right,
ask, the things that they would put into the search engines.
right,
And there's lots of ways to get around that because if you think about, so take a geographical area like your salon, um, you what you're trying to do is build a hub of information. So you're building information about a industry or about a certain topic, and that builds up. The search engines can see you're doing such a good job here that in the end you will be able to rank for the key phrases that you want to because you've done such a good job foundationally. And that's the point. It's kind of making the effort. It's not easy. I'm not saying it is, but it can be fun because you're providing that content for your visitors.
I'm giggling quietly by myself because we were actually just talking about your haircut today, right?
Yeah.
Before we started recording. And so I'm like, oh yeah, because you were complaining that it's really difficult to find a good hairdresser in France who's doing good haircuts for curly hair.
Yeah.
So if I was a hairdresser in France, right, and I'm actually good at cutting curly hair, well, that would be an amazing keyword, right?
Such a niche key phrase, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how many French people, maybe there's French people that just don't have curly hair. So that's another thing that I need to find out. Is there actually a market for that? But something like that is very, narrow. And then maybe I can also somehow bring in more of my values. The other thing I was thinking about in terms of hairdressers is like, well, maybe I want to resonate with an audience that doesn't want to use chemicals. So I would like really make a niche case around using products that are chemical free or that are natural, things like that. So
Mhm.
so that's what then resonates with your people and real people. So
Totally. And I think when you're looking at ranking in that way, so as in, okay, so chemical free, if you take that and then say, okay, we'll go back to the hairdressing products, something like that. But what you could do is build up lots of blog posts, really good blog posts about chemical free products, but also build up lots of blog posts about haircutting and hairdressing and things like that. And eventually the two cross, and then you've ended up getting that content on both of those sides, and you can do a sort of a cornerstone content kind of piece that actually links all of those together as well. So you've built up those two, yeah, areas of the industry, and that's how you build up your content and end up ranking for good phrases. So yeah.
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's fascinating. And look forward to talking more about the actual how to in the workshop.
Yeah.
Um, Do you feel like there's a trade-off between ranking well on search engines and still staying human and not trying to trick the engine, um, but still making sure, okay, my content feels very humane and human?
Yeah, there is a balance, and I know that business owners struggle with it. I know this. But we do actually touch on this in the workshop where I talk through what was my example. Some people will write things like, oh, 5 things I do on Saturday night to help my business or something like that. But you've got to get into the mind of the person on the search engine. They're not going to type in 5 things Sarah does on a Saturday night to help her business. They're just not going to search that kind of that sentence.
Mm.
So you think about it in a different way. You can, how to grow my business working on a Saturday night or something like that. That's a terrible example, but it's just trying to twist what you really want to write about and then what the people are actually searching for. So we go through in the workshop, we're going to go through the finding topics that you can actually write about, the things that you're interested in. Then we look at, okay, how are we going to find what people are searching for? So do the keyword research. And then you're looking at, okay, I need to write about that. So you get you get the background, exploring the topics, finding the key phrases, and then like which ones to choose.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, tell us a little bit about keywords and whether they change with the zeitgeist. I feel like they will, especially in the conscious business realm, right? I feel like it gets more and more, yeah, it's like in the zeitgeist now to say, like you talked about conscious websites. I call myself a conscious business coach. So there's certain keywords, and I think there's actually a tool where you can see, how keywords do over time and like, yeah, what have you seen lately? Like what's a hype keyword right now that people use?
Ooh, don't know the answer to that question. I'm trying to think. So when you say, did you say guides, site guides?
Zeitgeist, the
Site guides, I don't know that one.
yeah, it's a German word for saying like it's just in the air right now, like consciousness and
What's in it? Yeah.
kind of this
So you're sort of talking about, I guess, key like trends that people are
yeah,
searching for. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I that actually tend to so when you're looking at a website, so if you're looking at a very small business website, you're not going to be able to rank instantly or well for trending terms
Okay.
because you've got so many people to contend with. So a
Right.
lot of the time, the media will get up there on the trending key phrases and things. So what you need to do is like put the effort in, put the groundwork in to get the website to rank well for the basis. And that's when the search engines will crawl your website frequently. And when you've got a really big website, the search engines will crawl your website uh, hourly sometimes. The big websites, if they put a blog post up, they will rank within like 5 minutes because the search
Um,
engines are crawling the content all the time. When it comes to a small business like ours, it doesn't happen so much because the search engines will crawl us less frequently. But you can use Google Search Console and you can actually tell Google, right, I've put a new blog post up. So it's called Inspect URL. You can pop it into the inspection tool, see if it's been discovered yet. If it hasn't, you can ask Google to go crawl it. And that's a really good way of getting your very new content pushed out just a bit quicker.
Interesting. Yeah,
Mm.
wonderful. Well, for those who are listening and maybe can't or don't want to join us for the workshop, they're like, well, I'm just kind of like tipping my toes into SEO. What would be one thing that you would recommend? Like that's just the basis of the basis that people should do for SEO in their
We're
website.
covering this. Yay! We're covering this in part 2 of the workshop, and that's not a plug, honest, but it is about consistency. So
Mm,
the in the search engine world, it's called NAP consistency, which is name, address, phone number. That's what NAP stands for. And it
mm,
really is about having your business name, your telephone number, your opening times, your address, all of that, all consistent all across the internet. So you're not confusing search engines because humane marketing could be completely different from the humane marketing circle, even down to, the word the. Search engines need to understand that you are that certain business. And
same
so
business.
across
Mm,
social media, on your bios, all of that, you need to have the correct name, the one name that you use. I drop limited off of mine. I don't know if you're a SAL or registered
yes.
as, yeah. And so some people just will put limited or SAL on the name, on the end of their name, business name, and it's just not necessary
Mm,
unless you need to use it everywhere if you're going to use it in one place. But just, yeah, be consistent about the information you've put on the net.
yeah. Again, such a common sense practice, but if you don't know it and you don't pay attention to it, then that's already where it starts, right? You're hurting
Yeah,
your website. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think the one takeaway is imagine if you were searching for your business, what do you see on the net? What comes up? And then deal with those things.
Yeah, it reminds me of back in the days when I had the LinkedIn consultancy, and people would come to me and say, "Oh, never show my LinkedIn profile never shows up in a search, not on Google but on LinkedIn." And so I would go and search for their name, and they had like three different profiles under their name, and it was so confusing. And they're like, "Oh, I did that because I only wanted certain people to see this." I'm like, oh my God, that's so confusing.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
it's
it's the
if you're
same.
confusing people,
Mhm.
yeah. If you're confusing people, you're confusing the search engines, basically.
Yeah,
And your LinkedIn profile will have a lot of impact on how your website ranks and all sorts. So they all need to be consistent.
all connected. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, all right. Well, give us a sneak preview of the workshop and what we're going to be covering there.
Cool. So we've got 2 parts, and we're going to try to be really hands-on with the whole thing and just make sure that actually when we're talking about stuff, we will have a little bit of input, we can have questions, and we're going to have breakout rooms so you can actually do a little bit of work. Because as soon as I talk about NAP consistency, everyone goes off and checks their own website. So there is that one. But so we've got part 1, which is the keyword research, and we will be learning about exploring the topics. So doing sort of mind mapping around the topics that you want to use on your blog and on your website. And then we'll do researching of key phrases, and how to do it and the tools, and then which to choose. So which resonate with you. And then part 2 is all about consistency, which I was just talking about. And that's sort of reasons to be consistent, ways to be consistent, and then sort of where. So which websites and how you'd find them and how to change that information.
Mm.
It'll
Cool.
be
Wow.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. 90 minutes. So yeah, please, if you're listening and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I need to start off 2025. And then, you know, as Kelly said, sometimes for our small websites, it takes a while. So I remember we worked together, Kelly, and I think a year after I started to have one keyword who's still bringing me new signups every week, basically. And so
Chipping away. Yeah.
yeah, and that's just like, you know, that's such a good feeling because again, it's the right people, right? I know they're already filtered because it's not just a keyword like, you know, marketing. It's a very specific keyword that I will share during the workshop.
Yay.
So yeah, if you want to join us, all the details are at humane.marketing/workshop. It's on February 5th. And yeah, we always ask for a little donation because otherwise it's reserved to the circle members and it actually takes place in our community. So we hope to see you there. And personally, I can't wait. Thanks so much for doing this, Kelly.
I can't wait as well. So exciting. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, we forgot one thing, Kelly. Do tell people where they can find you.
Oh,
You
I'm
can-
Katie Webb everywhere. So it's hard to spell, but so it's KAYDEE Webb. And that's
Okay.
me basically all over the internet. So Instagram I hang out on a lot. So come over there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Get in touch with Kelly on Instagram, and if you want to see her live, it's during the workshop.
Yay.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching and being part of a generation of marketers who cares for yourself, for your clients, and for the planet. We really are change makers before we are marketers. So go ahead, be the change you want to see in the world. And I hope to see you again next week. Take care.